would like to hear about your feelings on this project and your excitement.
Wow. Yes, of course. I enjoyed this occasion so much because this is for me the first visit to Turkey, and 2 times I visited for field research. I was Saint Veneration and also Sufism, once in Istanbul and once in the area around Ankara. And 2 years ago, we had an international conference, but it was an ordinary international conference, and we are accustomed to that kind of conference. But this was a very special occasion, and it's for me for the first time to speak to the people in general, Turkish people in general, and it was very challenging and interesting. In most cases, when I make a lecture or when I make a speech, most of the audience are Japanese or European peoples, and this is for me the first time when I speak. First time I speak to the audience. Most of them are Muslims, so I didn't expect how Muslims feel my talk about the analysis of Islam, and I was, of course, I enjoyed it, but also I'm afraid if they get angry or something like that. But I was so much relieved because I felt so many people could enjoy my talk. And also it was very challenging. For example, I'm an anthropologist and experts about the research among the Muslims, particularly among the Bedouins and ordinary people in Arab countries. And this time I tried to make a comparison between Islam, one was a monotheistic religion, and also Shintoism. It's our traditional religion, but very polytheistic. And so two religions are very different. And this time, yeah, okay?
No.
Yes, this time, for me also, it's the first time to make such kind of comparison, so I could enjoy so much, and I am very grateful to the Kelm Foundation and also the colleagues of Üsküdar University who gave me such kind of occasion.
About this project,
Project of translating books or any other kinds
of the project, how they will come here.
Yes, of course, Professor Yasushi Tonaga, or he's my classmate in the university, so usually I'm calling him Yasushi. Yasushi is a very good scholar and also the director of the Kenan Rifai Center for Sufi Studies. And I'm, as a friend and also as a colleague, I'm already ready to help him. And also he has a partner of our joint research for more than 20 years. So if there is anything what I can do for that project, I'll do my best. And also we are, for example, Yasushi and I are the members of the nation-funded research program that was the Middle East. So we are running also some other projects at the same time. So now Yasushi and I are considering about to integrate those different programs together and make them more proficient and more progressive.
The question is, what about Sufism function on this project? I mean, there are two cultures.
So the function of Sufism in Islam, yes. For example, now, for example, as you can see in Islamic State or any other some fundamentalistic Muslims, yes, we must admit that there are recently some Muslims are considering the true Islam is like that kind of fundamentalist Islam, but I'm against that opinion. And as I told in my presentation yesterday, I think Sufism is one of the indispensable part of Islam, and Sufism can make Muslims more generous, affectionate, and also elegant. So I think, of course, if we see the long history of Islam, we can see the times where there was no Sufism in Islam between, for example, 7th century until 9th or 10th century. But after that, always Sufism exists in Islam, and I myself personally consider that Islam with Sufism is a perfect form of Islam.
Students will come and study on Ottoman
Yes, I know.
things, and many things they will learn. How will this help them?
Do I?
How will this process will help the students to make progress in their studies?
Okay, so for those students who are who are going to come in next January, of course, their experience to, for example, staying here for a month or for some weeks here is very important for them. And at the same time, of course, they can get some kind of knowledge and they can improve their studies in Ottoman studies. But at the same time, I envy, for example, Yasushi, because most of the students of Yasushi because at Sophia University, most of the Koreans are Alavists and Iranologists, and we didn't have any experts in Turkish studies, so we couldn't send the students. We couldn't this time, but mashallah, we invited another expert who is an expert in the politics of Turkey 2 years ago. So she is now ready to have graduate students in a year or 2 years. So in the future, I myself want to send some students, some of my graduate students here, because I consider, as I told you, that kind of experience is truly significant for their future life as scholars or any kind of experts in intellectual works.
And the translation project?
As the translation project, yes, generally saying, for example, translation from Japanese works to Turkish, and also from Japanese works to English, I consider it's also very useful because, for example, some 50 years ago, the level of Islamic studies in Japan was not so high, so most of our predecessors went to European countries or the United States to study Islamic studies. But for example, Yasushi and I didn't study in European countries or American countries because the level of Islamic studies in Japan get higher. So what we did was for example, both of us went to Egypt and studied for some years, and also Yasushi is visiting every year Istanbul and stay here for 1 month in Istanbul. So I believe now some of the European scholars or scholars in Turkey and also some Arab countries know the level of Islamic studies in Japan is high. But there is a problem because most of us are mainly writing in Japanese language, and it's a little bit, it became a language barrier for foreign scholars. So if those works of Japanese are translated into English and also into Turkish, maybe at least I expect that scholars in the other countries will know the level of the Islamic studies in Japan. And also, generally saying, Japanese people for Japanese people, Turkish language is not so difficult if we compare it with, for example, Arabic. But also, particularly, for example, younger students and graduate students of mine have very strong interest in Turkey and its culture, politics, and something. So if some of the works, particularly of the general works about Turkish culture or Turkish politics or some kind of, then if they are translated into Japanese, also it will be very useful for Japanese students, I believe.